So welcome everyone, and thank you all for joining us today. We're glad that you decided to spend the next 30 minutes with us. In our discussion today, we will be giving you all a playbook for building AI-driven products and services. And our hope is that what we share today and the insights that you gain from the discussion, you're able to apply it to the customer problems that you all are solving within your own organizations. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into it. So the first thing we're going to start off is the agenda. We want you all to be able to understand exactly what we're going to talk about so that you have the expectations right up front. The first thing that we're going to discuss is we're going to have some introductions and we're going to talk a little bit about Intuit. Then we'll go into artificial intelligence at Intuit. How do we think about artificial intelligence and how do we use it to solve our biggest customer problems? Next, we'll get into something called Design for Delight, which we'll give more details later, as well as two use cases specific to Virtual Expert Platform and QuickBooks Capital so that you can understand how we actually apply this in the real world. In closing, we'll talk about next steps at Intuit, how we're thinking about AI and how we're thinking about using it next. And then we'll talk a little bit more about opportunities here at the company so that those that are interested, you'll know how to apply. With that being said, my name is Brandon Mitchell. I'm currently a principal product manager here at Intuit. I've been here for 3 years, and I currently lead all of our info gathering experiences and capabilities for Intuit's Virtual Expert Platform.
Hello, everybody. My name is Harith. I'm a principal software engineer in the QuickBooks Capital team. I've been with Intuit for 10 years. I primarily focus on the area of data and machine learning.
So now let's talk a little bit about Intuit. So Intuit is a mission-driven financial platform company. And our mission at Intuit is to power prosperity around the world. We serve consumers, small businesses, and the self-employed, and work with a range of different partners to solve our customers' most pressing problems. Around the world, all of our customers have a common set of needs. They're either trying to make ends meet, maximize their tax refund, save money, and pay off debt. And for those who have made the bold decision to be entrepreneurs and go out and start their own businesses, they have an additional set of needs. They want to find and keep customers, get paid for their hard work, access capital to grow, and ensure that their books are done correctly. The reality is that too many of these customers struggle in silence. Too many people are falling into debt, too many small businesses fail. In communities around the globe, people wake up in the middle of the night and they're worrying about the financial challenges that they face. Across our platform, we use the power of technology to give everyone the opportunity to prosper. We are proud makers of innovative products such as TurboTax, QuickBooks, Mint, and Credit Karma, and we use these products to solve our customers' most pressing needs. Now when we get into Intuit Strategy, there are 3 key benefits that we focus on to make sure that we're delivering to our customers. Our products help our customers around the world make more money with the least amount of work while having complete confidence in their actions and decisions. Let's focus on the first one being more money. This is about using data and artificial intelligence to do things like finding customers the best interest rate through products like Credit Karma, or the biggest tax refund through products like TurboTax. The objective is to put more money in the consumer's pocket. Secondly is no work. For the small businesses and experts that we serve, how can we build capabilities to eliminate non-value added tasks so they can focus on the most important aspects of running their business? Lastly is complete confidence. Through products like TurboTax Live, QuickBooks Live, giving consumers and small businesses the opportunity to work with live experts, this allows us to instill confidence that the task is not only done, but that it's done correctly. Intuit's future is an AI expert-driven platform, and we're scaling our open trusted platform so that it connects with customers, with experts, and our partners to solve their most important problems. So with that being said, now let's look at a couple of statistics so that we can understand how the benefits that I just described are delivering value to our customers. Our Intuit Aid Assist program helps small businesses secure more than $1.2 billion through our Paycheck Protection Program. TurboTax powered over $48 million in tax returns. We connected our customers to over 20,000 financial institutions. QuickBooks Capital delivered over $1 billion in cumulative loans. And we have over 25 million active Mint users who use the product to understand their finances. So our ability to do all the things that I just mentioned starts with our talent, passion, and diversity for our employees. We believe in nurturing a world-class company that attracts the world's top talent and empowers them to do the best work of their lives. We're committed to creating a safe, inclusive, and ethical work environment for our employees so that at every stage of their career, they can reach their maximum potential and have meaningful impact. So at the end of this discussion, we will show a couple of opportunities that we have here at the company to give you all some examples on how you might apply. That being said, I'm going to pass it to Harith.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. So let me take you through AI at Intuit. And one important thing to realize here that the power of data and AI is critical. And it is changing in the very parameters that we think is possible. Intuit is embracing this potential and putting the power of AI on the side of the customers. Check out some of these amazing numbers. So today we have, in production, we have over 250 models that solve important customer problems. The same 250 models ignite more than 2,000 customer experiences. So a single model could really power multiple experiences. As a testament to our innovation, just in the last a few years, we have filed over 600 patents just in the area of data science and machine learning. What excites me the most about AI at Intuit is the scale and the challenges that it brings. We deal with customers' financial data, so it raises the bar of quality of our recommendation. What we consider acceptable versus not. This is not about recommending a movie or a friend's connection, right? So we're making financial recommendations. We are making a cash flow forecast. So any mistake will have substantial consequences. We're pushing ourselves to maximize the benefit for customers while following an ethical, transparent set of principles that governs our use of data. So now the question is, how did we accelerate this process? We looked at the work that it takes data scientists and engineers to put a model into production, and we stack ranked that. I thought of them as an AI hierarchy of needs pyramid. At the bottom of the pyramid, we have the data infrastructure, the machine learning infra. This is where we pull and ingest data in batch and real time from various sources. This is where data cleaning, which takes a lot of time, takes place. At the same time, this is where also we have the tooling to query and explore data. This is where 70% of person's time can be spent. Whereas at the top of the pyramid, this is where the productive time. This is where we have the actual AI model development and deployment. And this is where we want our data scientists, ML engineers to focus and spend their time and innovate. So how to solve the 70% problem? So we modernize our infrastructure. We move to AWS to help us with the scale, speed, and elasticity that we need. We build tooling and automation on top of that. We treat data as a product to enable our data scientists and engineers to get the data that they need quickly and efficiently. So we built critical data infrastructure to really help our team to get access to clean data as rapid as possible, with great tools for implementing data pipelines in batch mode and real time. Now, what's the result of these investments? So if you remember how that pyramid looked a couple of slides ago, now look at the impact. So here we increased the deployed model, the number of deployed models by 50%. We also saved more than 25K hours for customers by automating and pre-filling the right data. We also reduced the experts' review time by 50%. Now that we've looked at the AI at Intuit, let's see how we're able to transition the customer experiences through AI. I'll give it back to Brandon.
Thank you, Harith. And so now we wanted to get into a concept that we call design for delight here at Intuit. And so design for delight is a methodology that we use to solve customer problems. And the reason that this is applicable to our discussion today is because before we jump right into artificial intelligence, which is one way to solve a problem, We need to make sure that we're really crisp on the problem that we're trying to solve to see if artificial intelligence is the best way to solve it. In some cases it is, in some cases it's not. And so let's jump into it and talk about the framework that we use to determine if it is. So design for delight, as I mentioned, we also call it D for D, is a methodology that we use to innovate here at Intuit. It's a simplified approach to what some of you all may have heard of as called design thinking, which came out of Stanford University's design school. So it's a technique that you can use for creatively solving problems. D for D has three key components, and let's dive into those more specifically so that you understand what they are. So the first one is empathy. So empathy is about putting yourself in your customer's shoes so that you can understand their experience at a much deeper level. So everything we do starts with getting a deeper understanding of our customers and understanding what the customer pain points are. So this means observing and engaging with your customers to get an unfiltered view of their challenges. Ideally, we do this in their own natural habitat. So it's not uncommon for you to see Intuit employees do something that we call a follow me home. So follow me home is where you either go to the customer's house or if it's a small business, you might go to their place of business and you actually observe them using your product in their own environment. So what we're looking for are things like, are there kids that are running around the home that they're trying to keep in order? Do they have papers that are spread out all over the desk? Are there sticky notes on their monitors? Being able to understand how they're solving the problem and how they're experiencing it at that level is really important because it gives us the inspiration to innovate and come up with solutions that changes the customer's life in a way that they couldn't imagine going back to the old way of doing things. The next thing is a concept that we call going broad to narrow. So this phase is all about stimulating free thinking so that you can expand on the problem space and generate lots of ideas and exploration. We believe that to come up with one great idea, you first need a lot of ideas. And so the trick is to initially go for quantity. We get in a group of people might sit and think and brainstorm lots of different ideas. And then we're intentional about narrowing down to the best one. And lastly is rapid experiments with customers. So experiments can help you discover the truth before you build. This is the point where we begin rapid prototyping, A/B testing, and we put prototypes in the hands of actual customers to see how they behave, react, respond, and is it in the way that we expected? We can find opportunities to do better and opportunities to improve the experience in each round that we do testing. And I'll go through a specific example where you see how we've done that. So now that we've discussed design for delight, or we call D for D, let's talk about how we identify problems where AI may be the best fit. When we observe customer pain, we write these problem statements shown here. The problem statement consists of a detailed description of who the customer is, what the customer is actually trying to do, the friction or sticking point that the customer is running into when they're trying to do it. And then also we come up with a root cause of why we believe it's happening in the first place. And lastly is, how do they feel when they get stuck or they run into that problem? You want to have the empathy at that level so that you really understand what the customer is going through. If you'd like to visit our booth afterwards or reach out to us, we'd be happy to go through more details about how we create problem statements and give you all some tips on doing this. So typically when we come up with problem statements or we observe the customer, there's more than one problem that we observe. But it's important to focus on solving problems that would deliver the most benefit to the customer. So we use a framework called customer-driven innovation, in which we ask ourselves 3 questions to narrow to the right set of problems. The first is this a big customer problem? We quantify this through observed pain. How painful is it to the customer when we observe them? And then also data on how many customers it actually impacts. The second question is, can we solve it well? Do we have the assets, expertise? Are we partnered with someone that can help solve this really well? This is important for us to look introspectively to really understand and ask ourselves, is this something that we should be doing? Or is this something that another company could solve better? Lastly, can we build a durable competitive advantage? Can we build a solution that can't be easily replicated? So by using this framework, we can narrow to the most important problems to solve for our customers. So now let's walk through an example looking at Intuit's virtual expert platform. So the virtual expert platform is a suite of tools and capabilities that our experts use to serve our customers. So to deliver on the benefit that I mentioned earlier, which is complete confidence, we pair customers with real experts to help them with tasks like tax, bookkeeping, and finances. Now, this comes with its own set of challenges. Every customer has their own problem and unique situation. Similarly, every expert has their own expertise and experience. If we think about doing taxes and managing books, this involves lots of expertise, and not every expert has the knowledge for every single customer. So after gaining empathy, we identify the key benefits that we need to deliver both sides. And empathy is gained, again, by spending time with both the expert and the customer. So if I'm a customer, I want to meet an expert who understands my unique situation. If I'm an expert, I want to meet with a customer that I can help with my unique skill set, and then also that I can complete my work effectively and effortlessly. So how can we connect them to meet the needs of both sides? Our hypothesis in this is that we can do this through a capability that we've called matchmaking. And matchmaking makes the perfect connection happen. So now with this hypothesis, we need to come up with an end-to-end experience to match the customer to an expert. If we go back to what we discussed in Design for Delight, this is the rapid experimentation phase. So as you can see here, we have different phases of experimentation and iterations through the product development process. On the far left, you see just hand drawings and sketches. This is typically how the experimentation starts. This is something that you can do in a couple of hours with a couple of designers, come up with the end-to-end flow and just write things on pieces of paper and put them in front of the customers. From there, we can get an early read on what they're expecting from the experience. And then as we go through each round, we can just gradually increase the fidelity of the prototypes. And as you can see here, they've gone through 4 different rounds. And at the end, it's much higher fidelity than when we started. So after multiple rounds of experimentation, we finally land on the most effective visualizations, copyright, and interactions to deliver the matchmaking experience. So now, how do we know that AI can be applied to deliver the solution? And the key is really in the data itself. So here's an example of attributes for both customers and experts that need to be considered to find the best fit for both sides. Using this data, we apply a set of business rules and AI models that we can use to make decisions. For example, let's look at some business rules that we might look at in order to make a match. So in this example, the customer may have sold cryptocurrency and employee stock. You can also see that the customer is contributing to a retirement account and has rental property. So we need to make sure that this customer gets the expert what they need in order to solve this situation specifically. They want to make sure they have the right expert that can solve for their specific situation. Now let's look at the process end to end. So we start with the total population of all of the experts in our ecosystem. And then after the customer signs up for the service and provides some information, we apply our business rules. Doing this reduces the size of the expert pool to only the experts that can help the customer. The AI model then sorts through the narrow expert pool, uses additional logic like whether or not the expert is available or where they might be located, and then selects the perfect fit. And then lastly, we need to get feedback from the customer. So this might seem like an afterthought, but this step is critical in product development, as you always want to make sure that you have a feedback loop. So this survey helps us achieve 2 things. The first one is the user experience. We need to get the feedback on the experience to make sure that we're improving the experience that the customer goes through. And this is the visual and interactive experience. So this feedback helps us iterate on the interactions to make sure that the customer is having a delightful experience. The second thing is the AI model itself. So in this solution, you could have had a great visual experience, a great interactive experience, but get a bad match. So we need to make sure we get feedback on the match itself so that we can feed this data back into our models so our algorithms can get smarter and smarter with each iteration. With that said, I'm going to pass it to Harith, who's going to go through another example of how we apply AI to QuickBooks Capital.
Thank you, Brandon. So let me take you through QuickBooks Capital. QuickBooks Capital provides fast, simple, and easy financing options through direct lending and line of credit. We have the vision of democratizing the access to capital to unlock the dreams of our customers by serving them in the time of need. Today, with traditional lenders, small businesses spend days, if not weeks, of manual and tedious application and background checks. It takes them weeks and months to receive their funds when time is money and time is super critical for small businesses. Now, in QuickBooks Capital, we're much better at determining who's eligible to receive capital and to which loan product and when to receive it. We have models that determine business propensity to a specific loan product. By utilizing the data that we have about the customer, customers are able to complete their loan applications in minutes. We as a platform are able to deliver instant decisioning in few minutes for more than 98% of customers. We integrate seamlessly with bank accounts, which allows funding through direct debit card, which takes less than half an hour, or through ACH, which could take 2 to 3 business days. Let me walk you through what happens to simplify this customer experience. So with the business and borrower data is pulled automatically from various sources. The borrower and the business are automatically verified in real time with our fraud and risk models. When a bank account is added, there may be a typo, because of the fat finger, or it could be also a fraud. So a real-time deep learning model detects whether the bank account was mistyped or not. This reduces the delay in verifying the bank account to speed funding. Featurization or featurization engineering is one critical piece here. So we have created data pipelines that extract features from ecosystem signals, such as connected banks, their QuickBooks data, their sales, their customers, their payments. These features allows us to reduce the loan application process and the manual review effort because, one, we're able to identify the business seasonality and trends. We're also able to categorize the bank transaction and identify the revenue versus expenses versus bills, et cetera, et cetera. Now, let me take you through the technical aspects here. So starting from the left side, a consumer or a small business interacts with Capital API and embeddable widgets to create a loan application. We then take the submitted data along with all the data that we have about the customer and crunch all the numbers and make that available to the loan origination decision engine. This is where we run a policy that is written by a loan policy expert, where it takes into account all the supply data in addition to the AI model recommendation to make a final recommendation. The loan servicing component is where we manage and self-serve all funded loans. This is where a customer could go and schedule their next payments. On the data side, our tech stack consists of Databricks, PySpark, Amazon SageMaker, Elasticsearch, and DynamoDB. If you want to learn more about our tech stack and architecture, then please stop by our booth. Here's our leap of faith. We strongly believe in the following 3 pillars. Building embeddable lending capabilities by building a suite of APIs and embeddable widgets that are, 1, easy to adopt, 2, easy to extend, and finally, compliant guaranteed. One critical part of our complex business is compliance. So the question and the challenge is, how can you make it easy to integrate, adopt, and use while adhering to the state and the country's law? Number 2, or the second pillar, is unlocking the consumer lending. So since the beginning of this product, our focus has been small businesses. Now we're starting the massive journey of an ambitious charter of solving for consumers. We're starting by payroll employees and extending this slowly but surely to other products in Intuit and outside Intuit. As a data enthusiast, imagine what we can do from an AI perspective if we're able to tie Joe's data, who works for a small payroll employer, who's also a freelancer on weekends. So he is in QuickBooks self-employed. He also uses Mint to manage his expenses and files taxes with TurboTax. The opportunity is just massive. Lastly, We strongly believe in delighting our customers. This is clear from the testimonial that we continually receive from our customers. Our goal is to continue exceeding customers' expectation and delight them with tailored and personalized capital lending offers with no paperwork, instant decisioning, and instant funding. So how we're going to do it? Self-service is a must. So we say that self-service and automation are the key to move fast and deliver value fast. So how can we empower policy teams, which are crucial into the success of this platform? How can we empower the policy teams to build and publish new policies and run experiments with minimum to zero engineering efforts? How can we build experiences with zero code? This is just naming a couple of projects that we're working on right now. Scaling 400. How can we scale and build a platform that works for various use cases? Expanding our platform to consumers lending made us really go back and validate our assumptions, validate and revisit our database schemas, API, and the model training data, the internal toolings. We needed to generalize the capabilities to go beyond the problems that we solve today. Winning together is one of the most important Intuit values, which are, we are a team of engineers, data scientists, machine learning engineers, product managers, experience design, policy, legal, and a lot more. We all work for the same customer at the end of the day. It's important that we continue to bring ourselves to the job every day and do what's right by the customer. That's it for Capital. Hope this was useful and fun. So please stop by our booth to learn more about Intuit and what's life like at Intuit. Thank you very much.